He was steering the car with one hand and punching Rihanna with the other. She was spitting blood. They had the Grammy Awards in a few hours. Chris Brown has spent nearly 20 years making some of the most commercially successful R&B music of his generation. He's also spent nearly 20 years being named in police reports, restraining orders, lawsuits, and criminal charges. Every time, the industry makes the same calculation. There's an incident, a statement, a period of quiet, and then the awards come back. That calculation has been running since 2009. Here's what it's been running over. Just after midnight on February 8, 2009, LAPD responded to a 911 call. A woman had been assaulted on a Hollywood street. When officers arrived, they found Rihanna. She was 20 years old. Brown was 19. According to the police affidavit, an argument started when Rihanna read text messages from another woman on his phone. Brown came enraged. He forced her out of the car, hit her head against the passenger window, and punched her in the eye. Then he kept driving with one hand and kept hitting her with the other. Blood was filling her mouth. He put her in a headlock, choked her, and bit her ear and fingers. He told her, "I'm going to beat the crap out of you when we get home. You wait and see." When she faked a phone call to her assistant to get police to the house, he said, "You just did the stupidest thing ever. Now I'm really going to kill you." The photos of her injuries leaked publicly. Her face was barely recognizable. They were on their way to the Grammy Awards. Brown turned himself in. He pled guilty to 1 count of felony assault. He received 5 years of probation and 180 days of community labor. No prison time. His attorney said the incident was an opportunity for Brown to get his life back on track. The Grammy Awards went ahead that morning. Rihanna didn't perform. Now here's the thing about that guilty plea. His fans have pointed to it for years as proof he took responsibility. And in a narrow technical sense, he did. But turning yourself in, when you've beaten your girlfriend so badly that photographs of her face went around the world, isn't a moral gesture. It's the calculation of someone who understood he was caught and picked his best legal option. Those two things aren't the same. What matters is what came next, because the argument for grace only works if it ends there. But this story didn't end there. While Brown was serving his probation for the Rihanna assault, he started an on and off relationship with model and actress Karrueche Tran. They were together from around 2010 to 2015. In 2017, 2 years after they split, she went to court. Tran testified that Brown had sent her threatening text messages, including, "I will beat the crap out of you," and "I promise you, I will make your life hell." She testified he threatened to kill her. She also testified that he punched her in the stomach twice and pushed her down a flight of stairs. Allegations, she says, dated back to years when he was still on probation for assaulting Rihanna. In June 2017, a California court granted her a 5-year restraining order. Courts don't hand those out easily. A judge reviewed her testimony, reviewed the documented threats, and decided the situation warranted one. No criminal charges were filed. No probation violation was triggered. The things she described under oath produced a restraining order and nothing else. That's the template running a second time. Different woman, same outcome. A legal process that validates what the victim says and produces no meaningful consequence for the person it was said about. After 2009, Chris Brown needed someone to help rehabilitate his public image. He hired a manager named Michael Gurgis, known professionally as Mike G, specifically for that job. Mike G's role was to help Brown recover from the Rihanna assault in the public eye, rebuild his commercial career, and present a version of the story where growth was happening. In 2016, Mike G sued Brown for assault, battery, and false imprisonment. He alleged that Brown had shut him in a room and punched him in the face and neck. The two settled out of court in 2019. The man hired to manage the PR fallout from Chris Brown's violence became a victim of it. That's not commentary. That's what happened. The lawsuit was filed, the settlement was reached, and the career continued. In 2012, 3 years after pleading guilty to felony assault, Chris Brown won his first Grammy, Best R&B Album for Fame. In February 2025, with a documented history of allegations behind him and a restraining order from a former girlfriend in his past, the Recording Academy gave him his second Grammy. Best R&B Album again for 1111 Deluxe. He posted on Instagram and thanked the Grammys by name. The following January, a California judge dismissed his $500 million defamation lawsuit against Warner Brothers over the documentary Chris Brown, A History of Violence. The judge ruled the film presented fair and true reporting of the history of allegations against him. A court confirmed the document record in that film was accurate. The Grammy was already in the cabinet by then. The Recording Academy has had his record for over 15 years. They gave him the first Grammy in 2012, the second in 2025. The decision they keep reaching isn't an oversight. It's a conclusion they keep making on purpose, with all available information in front of them. In February 2023, at a London nightclub called Tape, a music producer named Abe Diao had an encounter with Chris Brown. Brown allegedly struck him multiple times with a bottle of Don Julio 1942, then kicked him while he was on the ground, leaving Diao unconscious and hospitalized with head lacerations and leg ligament damage. Diao reported the incident to UK police. In May 2025, Brown was arrested in Manchester on criminal charges of causing grievous bodily harm with intent, along with additional counts of assault and possession of an offensive weapon. He was initially denied bail, with the judge calling the allegations too serious for the lower court. He eventually secured bail at around $6.7 million. Hours after his release, he posted on his Instagram story. The message said, "From the cage to the stage." He has pleaded not guilty. The UK criminal trial is scheduled for October 26, 2026. Around over a month ago, on May 8, 2026, Chris Brown released his 12th studio album. He named it Brown. The title is an acronym. It stands for Break Rules Only When Necessary. 7 days after the album dropped, he was in Manchester to answer those criminal charges. In less than 4 weeks, on June 26th, he starts a 33-date co-headlining stadium tour with Usher. Break rules only when necessary. That's what he named the album while the trial date was already on the calendar. That's what's on the artwork sitting in stores right now. And the tour is almost sold out. Go back to that car on February 8th, 2009. Rihanna spitting blood, faking a phone call, trying to get police to the house. Brown with one hand on the wheel and the other still swinging. Both of them supposed to be at the Grammys in a few hours. That's where the documented record starts. What followed was Karrueche Tran testifying under oath about being punched, pushed down a flight of stairs, and threatened with death during years when Brown was on probation for the Rihanna assault. His own image consultant suing him for being shut in a room and punched in the face. A Las Vegas woman filing a police report after a party. A 9-hour police standoff at his house over allegations he threatened a woman with a gun and wouldn't return her phone unless she signed an NDA. A backstage assault at a concert that became a $50 million lawsuit. A London nightclub, a tequila bottle, and a man who ended up on the ground. 2 Grammys, 1 guilty plea. A judge who ruled that the documentary about his conduct was fair and true. The industry has had this information for 17 years. It produced a second Grammy in 2025. It produced a 33-date stadium tour, with Usher launching this June. It produced a new album titled after the idea that rules only apply sometimes. And it'll be producing all of that with an October criminal trial on the horizon. The template has been running the whole time. The difference between the people who built that template and the people it ran over is simple. One group got the awards, the other group got the restraining orders.